This is everything. What I'm about to share with you is so central to everything that you've ever done, to everything that you've ever wanted, to everything, period, right? This is so central that you'll never find anything that has so much magnitude on the effect of your life. I got your attention? I probably do. And I know that it sounds like a really big claim, but as long as I've been doing what I've been doing and teaching people and helping people, converting people into high performers and studying the human experience, I've never found anything more powerful and more potent than what I'm about ready to share with you. Are you ready? Here it is. Belief is everything. Like, there are so many things that we can talk about what affects life and what affects our performance, what makes success and what helps people make more money, what has better relationships. But the bottom line is there's nothing more profound and more powerful than belief when it comes to all of those things. Now, I wonder if you believe that. If you do believe that, I think you're really going to love what I'm going to share with you in just a minute here. If you don't yet believe it, I think you're going to find this really interesting, and I bet it's going to prove to you that I'm right. That belief is everything. So let's take a look at this here. One of the things I want to teach you real quickly is what I call the layers of existence. Okay, excuse me. In my teaching, in the model that I have called the Catalyst model, one of the core pillars is called the layers of existence, and really, the layers of existence is a model to kind of explain the layers of the human person, kind of how we function, and it's a good metaphor for just kind of understanding a little bit more about how we flow as human persons. So the first and top layer, by the way, this is a hierarchical list of how we're made up, how our existence is, if you will. The first layer, if you will, is called purpose. Like, one of the things that has the most, actually it's at the top of the list of the things that have the most power over the trajectory of our life is what we believe our purpose is in terms of existence, in terms of our purpose, in terms of what's the purpose of our business, what's the purpose of whatever it is that you decide to have be part of your life. Purpose has a trickle-down effect over the whole of our life, and it's one of the most potent pieces, okay? So here's what's interesting. If belief is everything, what you believe your purpose is will have that much more of an effect over the whole of your life. And so if you were to take a look at this layer of existence as kind of like a pyramid, if you will, at the very top being purpose, the next one down is identity. Who you believe you are and how you believe you are has a very, very profound effect on virtually everything in your life. As a matter of fact, if somebody were to shift what they believe about their identity, it would literally shift everything about their values and their beliefs and their environment and their behaviors and virtually everything in their life. That's how high up on this layers of existence identity is. So you've got purpose, you've got identity, and the bottom line is who you believe that you are is how you show up. Okay? What you do, how you respond, what you allow in your life is all based on that belief around your identity. All right, so let's look at the third layer. So we've got purpose, we've got identity, then we've got what we call values. Now, in the world of neurolinguistic programming, we speak of values in a very purposeful way because that word is used a lot for a lot of different things, the word value. And what we're talking about here is values are deep-seated collections of beliefs. Okay, it's really interesting that when people value something like, say, family, like, you know, most people who have family, they value them to some extent, but what I'm talking about is like such a core belief that we would make our decisions from those beliefs of that family is everything. Even to the point of self-sabotage. People will sabotage their own experiences, their own lives because they want to be able to, at least subconsciously, stick to their values. So you've got purpose, you've got identity, you've got values. Now you've got what we call capabilities, or another word for that might be potential. What you believe you have in terms of potential determines how much of it you're going to tap into. It can be determined how much you'll be able to access to affect your life. Okay? All right, so now we've got 4 layers, right? Purpose, identity, values, capabilities, or potential. And then it comes to behavior. You see, what you believe drives all of your behavior. If you believe that you're a great salesperson, you're going to go out and sell. If you believe, oh, no, I'm not a salesperson, you probably struggle. If you believe that you are a healthy person, you'll probably eat and act and behave and be active like a healthy person. If you believe that you're unhealthy, you probably show up differently. Your diet probably looks different. Does that make sense? Okay. That's behavior. And then the last layer of existence I want to share with you is environment. Another way to think about this is the results around you, the environment in which you live. What you believe about the environment that's right for you to live in determines the home you live in, the state you live in, the city, who you live with. Okay? It determines how you take care of your surroundings and your belongings and all of those things. So you can already see if those are the 6 core pillars or core layers of the human person that make up the whole of a human experience, right? Purpose, identity, values, capabilities or potential, behaviors, and environment. You can see that in every one of those, it is our belief about those particular layers that really determines the overall experience of life. Do you see where I'm going with this? Belief is everything. So now let's look at the flip side of this. If that makes up the human person, let's talk about this idea that's been around for a while that not everybody seems to completely understand, and it's called limiting beliefs. Now, the word gets thrown around quite a bit, but I want to give you some clarity on this because if belief is everything, and it is, belief is everything, and it makes up most of who we are as a human person, I want you to see how prevalent and how pervasive your belief goes into your life, into your performance, into your business, into your relationships, in all of the core pieces and areas of your life. Okay, so here's what I want you to know about limiting beliefs. Here's what I want you to know is I want to share with you that there's some certain categories that are going to show up as limiting beliefs that you might not have considered before. And what you're going to notice here is that because there's so many other categories of limiting beliefs, that because belief is everything, if we're being limited in so many different areas, how much more living, how much more success is available to you because of this? You ready? All right, limiting beliefs. All negative beliefs are limiting. They're a limiting belief, okay? If it's negative, and when I say negative, I'm looking at a definition of being restrictive in terms of negative, right? So, we can have negative opinions on particular things. That doesn't necessarily make it bad, but this is something that's in some way reductive or reducing for our lives. So all negative beliefs. Okay, you get the idea. The next category is all doubts. Yeah, that's right. Doubt is a negative belief showing up before any results actually do. It's really pretty interesting. It's interesting that we can have a limiting belief or a negative belief, like a doubt. We can have doubt about something even before it actually happens, right? So negative belief about the future, if you will. Okay, so all doubts are limiting beliefs, okay? Comparisons. Anytime we make a comparison of ourselves to another person in terms of our looks, our beauty, our health, our ability to perform, whatever it might be, all comparisons are actually limiting beliefs because we are actually, well, not all comparisons, certain comparisons, right? If I compare myself to my next door neighbor because his lawn looks absolutely amazing and he gets out there and he spends hours and hours and hours a week with it, I'm not really interested in spending that much time. That doesn't mean my lawn is bad or that I'm bad necessarily, but when I start doing a comparison, I was never meant to be him, and he was never meant to be me. And that leads to some really uncomfortable and unhealthy things, really. All right, so anything that you can't directly feel is a limiting belief. What does that even mean? I know. First time I heard it when I was studying this was made me kind of go, what does that even mean? I'm confused. What is that? So I want you to think of it this way. Anything you can't directly feel is when you say, when somebody says something like, I am not happy, I don't feel loved, right? So you can't, if you have the absence of something like I don't feel loved, that's something you can't feel, right? It's like, I don't feel the love, so therefore I'm not feeling it. And that's something you can't directly feel, okay? And so same thing with not happy. Well, if they have the absence of happiness, it's something you can't directly feel. And that in and of itself is a limiting belief. If I were to say, I'm not happy, I believe that I'm the opposite of happy, or I'm lacking happiness, and that's limiting me in some way, shape, or form. So that's why that one's a limiting belief. Okay, next one, negations. Negations are things like, I won't be as good as that other person, or I'm not, right? See, won't and not, don't, and those kinds of things. Anytime we negate something like that, we have actually created a limiting belief, okay? So we're making this list right now. We said all negative beliefs, all doubts, all comparisons, well, many comparisons, anything you can't directly feel, negations, there's more. Do you see where I'm going with this? Belief is everything. Even if I just had a slight doubt, that's a negative belief. And belief weighs a lot in our lives. Okay, here, so this one's gonna be, this one might actually stir you up a little bit. This might actually disturb you a little bit. Physiological issues, including sometimes disease. I know, that can be heavy. And sometimes, including myself, have experienced disease, experienced hardship and illness and those kinds of things. And the last thing we want to think about is like, well, I made that decision at some point in time to have this limiting belief that led me to being as sick as I am. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be everything. And there are truly real health problems and diseases and that kind of thing out there. However, our physiology, we know this more than we've ever known in history now, is that our physiology is absolutely affected by what we think and what we believe. As a matter of fact, a belief is just a thought we have repetitively about how something is. Okay, the isness of things. Okay, here's another one: accidents. Yeah, believe it or not, we may have limiting beliefs that may cause accidents. This happened to me several years ago, and I don't want to get too long into the story, but the bottom line is that I ended up accidentally taking 2 extra pieces of medication than I was supposed to one day, simply because I was having this belief, this limiting belief, that I couldn't handle the busyness that was going on in my life at that time. Although I'd done it before, which was really kind of odd, and I've done it since, but I just kind of have this feeling like, hey, I just need a break, man. I just need a break. I just like to have a break because I'm so busy and I need a break. And next thing I know, I popped a couple extra pills. And I literally got lucky to find the one person that was there where I was at work early in the morning who raced me to the hospital. And I spent the day in the hospital making sure my heart didn't stop because I had taken this medication. And sometimes that limiting belief can create accidents around us as well. Here's one more. Any negative emotion at effect. Okay? And when I say at effect, what I mean by that is if I feel some sort of negative emotion like a sadness because of something somebody else did, I have chosen that particular emotion. And it's limiting me in some way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, who wants to feel negative anyway, right? And so that's a negative emotion, if you will. All of these things I've just shared with you come up in the world of neurolinguistic programming around what we call time techniques, right? Time techniques, and we use this to actually help people be able to let go of limiting beliefs. But because there's so many little different categories here of just limiting beliefs in and of themselves, and I've shared with you the layers of the human person, right? The layers of existence, you can probably see it by now, right? You can see that belief is everything. Everything that you know about how the world works, you've believed it at some point in time. Now I'm going to share with you 2 more things because I don't want to just leave you hanging with the fact of like, oh my gosh, Greg, this is just like, whoa, this is a lot of stuff. But what I want to do is I want to bring this to a head for you. And so the one thing I want to share with you real quickly is that limiting beliefs have a source. Okay? They happen for a reason. They have a source, and I want to share with you that source because when I do, you're now going to have the awareness of knowing where limiting beliefs come from so that you can be careful not to generate limiting beliefs for yourself. As a matter of fact, you can actually use this to generate much more positive, empowering types of belief for yourself. So here it is. Every single limiting belief from all of those categories I just shared with you come from limiting decisions. At some point in time, you had an experience. A person has an experience. I've had experiences where my interpretation of that experience, I made a decision about what it meant. I made a decision about what it's going to do for how it's going to affect my life. And that decision solidified and anchored in me a limiting belief that has kept me from some other good that I could have had in my life. Same thing for you. Same thing for every human person. This is good news. I hope you see that. I hope you see that. This is not a judgment on you saying, hey, way to go, idiot. You made a limiting decision. Right? Fix yourself. No, what this is awareness. And awareness itself is transformational. And we become aware that as you experience life, you're making decisions all of the time about what these things mean and how it's going to affect the rest of your life or the rest of your day or whatever it might be. You can now have control over this. So, you ready for the information that's going to help you be able to actually overcome this? If belief is everything, I want you to be able to create beliefs in your life that make your life glorious, that make your success all the better. Okay? Here's what it looks like. When we have an experience, the first thing that our brain does is it makes what we call an association. An association is your brain going, have I ever seen anything like this before? So let's say I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden, pow, I get a flat tire. All right, I pull off to the side of the road, okay? As a matter of fact, as soon as I heard the sound and I pulled off the side of the road and I looked down there and there's the tire, flat as a pancake, my brain goes, have we ever seen anything like this before? Okay, that's an association. In order for us to make sense of the world, we have to be able to take what we currently know with what is currently happening, which is new, and we gotta find a way to integrate those things. Otherwise, we feel like we're insane, like things just don't make sense. So we make an association, all right? So we have an experience, then we have an association. But then from the association, we now make an interpretation. So let me share this with you because I think this will be much more valuable for you. Look at it this way. If you look at this cycle right here, there's the experience that happens here. And I actually have the word perception, okay? We experience something, we perceive something happening like the flat tire, okay? And then what happens is we have the association. Oh, have I ever seen anything like this before? Yes, I have, or no, I haven't. And whatever the answer is, it moves us right into the next phase, which is the interpretation of that event, all right? Interpretation is where we give something meaning. Defining moment. This is a defining moment, right? We give it some meaning, and from that meaning, we form a belief. If I haven't seen something before, and I make an interpretation, which then informs my belief, now my belief determines my, what does that say there? Behavior. All belief drives all behavior. All behavior drives all your results in your life, and then that becomes a cycle, okay? So, because we perceive something, we have the association, we form an interpretation or meaning, it becomes a belief. What this means here, actually I'm going to keep this because I think this is going to be really important. What this means is that the key to navigating the truth that belief is everything is in the one step that's absolutely critical right here, and it's right here. Interpretation. Interpretation. Some of us have been sitting with beliefs that have been around for decades and they're not serving us anymore. They're past their expiration date and maybe they never really were very good to begin with. But you can undo that. You can reframe that by going back and having a new interpretation of the experiences, of the information, of the people that have happened to you over time. Isn't that good news? Good news is that belief is everything, and it is your interpretation of an event that's going to determine those beliefs. And so you can now in the future be very aware and purposeful about how you interpret circumstances. I could have had that flat tire and got out of my car and interpreted it as like, oh my gosh, this stuff always happens to me. Do you see how this is? My life is so terrible and I've got the worst luck that there ever is. That's one interpretation. Or I could have had the experience, got out, saw the flat tire and went, well, I guess it's probably time to get new tires anyway. So that's probably going to save me a little bit of a headache of trying to remember it. I'll go get that taken care of now. Totally, completely different scenarios. One was a lot heavier and uncomfortable than the other was, and all it was a difference of interpretation. I want you to see how powerful you are. Your ability to interpret certain circumstances makes you very powerful about how you are going to experience your life and your business and your relationships and your health, okay? Now, one more piece. Not only can you be purposeful about your future interpretations, but you can actually go back into your past experiences, back when you made those limiting decisions, and from the perspective of who you are and how you are now, from what you know now, years, decades later, look at it in a new light and reinterpret those experiences. Give them new meaning and let them anchor a new meaning inside of you. And I guarantee you that this will be profound in what you can let go of, what you can reinterpret and let go of. Okay? Listen, I love you. Okay? You know that I do. And I want to encourage you to let this be true for you because just because it is. Okay? I love you. Be great. It's what you're made for. Bye.